news agency in India, and its financial survival depends is actually very essential because it also means that the credibility of press in India is dependent on PTI's financial survival. So, but the point is that at heart, I'm a journalist. I've always been a journalist, and I will always be a journalist. Um, so I'm more used to sitting in the audience and listening to speeches. Some of these speeches must have been quite boring, I'm sure, and I was probably scratching my head wondering कि इसका लीड क्या होगा, इसका इंट्रो क्या होगा, इसका हेडलाइन क्या होगा. Uh, लेकिन I will try and not bore you with a speech. In fact, being a good journalist, I will quickly give you the headline so that you don't have to worry about what the headline is. लेकिन मैं हेडलाइन दे दूंगा, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि आप उठ के चले जाए कि हेडलाइन तो आ गई है, आगे क्या बैठना है. तो the headline, I've written it down because I didn't want to make a mistake in telling you what the headline is, and it's very critical for the young people to understand what the headline is, which Justice Desai just now mentioned. The, the headline is that the press is facing the biggest crisis today. There's no doubt about it. That the press, I've never seen the press facing a bigger crisis in my career at least. So why do I say that? I say that because the credibility of the press, and the credibility of the press is the very foundation of a healthy democracy. That credibility is cracking. It is cracking under the relentless pressure of global infodemic. It is cracking under the threat of fake news, and it is cracking under the fake news being aided by the slow creep of artificial intelligence. It is also cracking because sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot. हम अपने पाँव पे कुल्हाड़ी खुद ही बांध लेते हैं, मीडिया वाले जो हैं. We demean ourselves with our reporting sometimes, or rather our misreporting. We demean ourselves with our indecent rush to be the first to break news. And in the process of breaking news, we throw out of the window the fundamental principle of journalism, which is verify before publishing. This, all the IMC students here and other students must have been told in their first class that you cannot publish without verifying the news. Here, I would like to briefly mention the very shameful episode of the legendary actor Dharmender's purported death. I can see that there is a reaction in the room. We all saw what happened on November 11th. Many media outlets announced that he had died. There was no attribution. This is a fundamental sin in journalism that you do not publish any news without attribution. We did it. It was just an authoritative flash on the screens that he had died. I believe someone said that their attribution was actually a guard at the hospital who had told them that Dharmender had died, so they went and published it. Anyway, a few hours later, the family had to deny it. How sad is that? Just put yourselves in the shoes of Sunny Deol or other members of the family. If you were in that situation, your loved one is in the hospital fighting for his or her life, and आपके सोसाइटी में या फैमिली में ये बात फैल जाती है कि वो नहीं रहे और आपको डिनाई करना पड़ रहा हो, तो उनकी मानसिक स्थिति क्या होगी जरा सोचिए. और अगले दिन हुआ क्या, धर्मेंद्र जी को घर वापस लेकर आया गया, एम्बुलेंस पे वो घर वापस आए. But there was no apology from us. There was no retraction. We just moved on as if we had not reported it at all. And frankly, I feel embarrassed that my fraternity can do this. But I'm also proud that PTI did not do this. PTI held back and refused to report Dharmenderji's death because there was no confirmation from anyone authoritative. Unless we know for a fact, we do not report any news. We also did not jump the gun when Poonam Pandey allegedly died. Poonam Pandey का याद है किसी को? पूनम पांडे ने एक अफवाह खुद ही फैला दी थी कि वो मर गई हैं, और सब चैनल्स ने रिपोर्ट करना शुरू किया। हमने बहुत कोशिश की पूनम पांडे की डेथ को कंफर्म करने की, लेकिन कहीं से कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा था, तो हमने नहीं चलाया वो केस। अगले दिन वो खुद जिंदा होकर वापस आई और फिर उन्होंने कहा कि मैं जिंदा हूँ और मैं कैंसर अवेयरनेस के लिए मैंने प्रैंक खेला। So, in this context, where the news has become a commodity, has become entertainment, the observance of the National Press Day today becomes even more important. As Justice Desai just now said, it commemorates the day the Press Council began its work as a moral watchdog with two mandates. One was to protect press freedom. The other one, equally important, is to uphold the highest standards of journalistic ethics. To me, that nothing is more important to me as a journalist than the ethics. So the National Press Day is more than an anniversary. It's a solemn reminder of the vital role a free press, and a responsible press plays in the lifeblood of our nation. The theme chosen for this year, safeguarding press credibility amidst rising misinformation, is not merely a topic for academic debate. It is a confrontation. It's a confrontation with the most corrosive forces threatening our profession and, by extension, our democracy. Let's take a few minutes to analyze the anatomy of the misinformation crisis. Now, for generations, the press has served as a connective tissue for our society. It has been the eyes and ears of our citizen, a platform for public discourse, and a mechanism for accountability. This, this sacred trust that has been painstakingly built over the years is very, very fragile. And that fragile trust is being tested by several enemies. We have the usual suspects. There is the paid news, there is the advertorials masquerading as objective reporting, and then there is the sensationalism of yellow journalism. But the modern crisis runs much deeper. What has happened? The digital age has democratized content creation. Anyone with a mobile phone can become a journalist, and everyone is pretending to be a journalist. But journalism is a profession like medicine, for example. You cannot become a good doctor unless you go to the medical school. You cannot become a good journalist unless you have the training. Just because you have the tools of journalism does not mean that you are a great journalist. So this digital age has also unleashed a tsunami of falsehoods and fake news, often engineered for maximum emotional impact. It spreads like wildfire on social platforms, and it is propelled by algorithms. Which what do the algorithms do? They prioritize engagement over accuracy. The more the people engage with a news, the more viral it becomes. They don't care a damn whether it is accurate or not. The algorithm will promote it. And these platforms, in their quest for user attention, have created echo chambers that reinforces biases and the shield falsehood from scrutiny. The more you see it, a particular kind of video, a similar kind of video or news will keep appearing in your feed, and that is the echo chamber. You are only listening to what you want to listen to, what you want to read. But this distortion of public understanding has real world consequences. It's not a game, it's not a video game कि आज हमने गलत खबर देख ली और आगे बढ़ गए. नहीं, it has got real world consequences in our society. It can incite violence, it can undermine public health initiatives as we saw during Corona time. It can disrupt social harmony, and most dangerously, it can erode faith in democratic institutions. When citizens cannot distinguish between fact and fiction, the very basis of informed consent, the very basis of informed consent, which is the cornerstone of democracy, starts crumbling. And now we are facing a more insidious threat: artificial intelligence. The rise of deepfake technology represents a quantum leap in the sophistication of disinformation. We have already seen digitally altered videos of public figures. Their voices are cloned, their words are twisted to promote fraudulent schemes or to spread malicious propaganda. I'll give an example. Very recently, a deepfake video of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharamanji was circulated to promote a fake investment scheme. It's actually a video of me interviewing Nirmala ji, after the budget, after she had presented the budget. So the video is genuine, but a fake audio track has been overlaid on the video. And in that video, I appear to be asking her about a so-called investment scheme, and she supports it wholeheartedly. She even says कि मैंने इस पे मुझे बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ है, मैंने 40,000 डाले थे, 4 लाख मिले or something like that. And then she tells everyone आप भी आप इसमें करिए. Her voice is genuine, her inflection is genuine, the timbre of her voice, the way of her delivery is absolutely genuine. The only flaw I could see, if there was a flaw, was that whoever created the video gave me a Russian accent. अब मैं किस एंगल से रशियन लगता हूँ मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन इस देश में हर कोई को पता नहीं होगा कि रशियन एक्सेंट क्या होता होगा. If anyone hears me speaking Russian accent, will assume कि ये है कहीं से, पता नहीं नॉर्थ ईस्ट से है, साउथ से है, कहीं से है, वहाँ मे बी इंग्लिश ऐसी बोली जाती है. They will fall for it, and people will fall for it. So thankfully we managed to get the video removed from the internet before it could do much harm. So what am I saying here? That this is no longer science fiction. The speed at which this technology is evolving is breathtaking. In your classes, by the time you graduate from your courses or when you had joined, AI has just progressed by leaps and bounds. What you can do with AI today is far impressive than it was a year ago. So what is AI doing? It is challenging the very notion of verifiable truth. Earlier we said that we should verify everything. But even that verification is becoming difficult because AI is becoming so good. Now let's go back to these videos. Why do these videos, these fake videos and fake news, why are they so popular? Why do they gain currency? Because it is an age of instant gratification. People are constantly looking for something new. They want the bragging rights to be the first to share the breaking news with their friends and family. And we are all guilty of this. कुछ आता है WhatsApp में, हमें एकदम से पूरे अपने ग्रुप में, कॉलेज ग्रुप होगा या फैमिली ग्रुप होगा या जो भी होगा, उनको दिखाना है कि देखो मैंने ये, I posted it first. And the media also seeks the same bragging rights of being the first. इसीलिए हमने धर्मेंद्र जी को, I really hope he lives to be 100. Now, the media has prioritized speed over substance because we want to be the first. We also chase clicks over credibility, and now we have created this turbulent sea of information and disinformation and misinformation. This has led to a very dangerous erosion of public trust in media. Now, restoring that trust is the most critical mission of every journalist and media organization in this room today and in the world today. It is the responsibility of every media organization, every journalist. How do we do this? I can speak only from PTI's perspective. At Press Trust of India, our answer has been to anchor ourselves firmly to 4 bedrock principles of our profession: truth, accuracy, fairness, and independence. For the last 75 years, PTI was founded 12 days after independence in 1947. PTI is owned by newspapers, so we don't own any allegiance to any one particular business house. A group of newspapers, 99 newspapers originally, came together and created this organization. They run PTI. There is no, so there, even if, let us say, a particular newspaper has a particular political bent or inclination, it is countered by the other owners who have a different bent. So it is impossible for any newspaper owner to assert his or her political agenda on PTI, which is why PTI has remained so credible and neutral and unbiased all these years, for which I'm very, very grateful and I'm very proud. So PTI has functioned with this one unwavering philosophy, which is credibility is our currency. we are nothing without our credibility. We are not going to win great prizes. Nobody is going to give us the Ramnath Goenka Award for journalism, for investigative journalism. But our credibility is what is recognized by India today. This credibility is not just a passive commitment, it's an active daily practice in our newsrooms. Our journalists are trained to be skeptical, to question, to verify, and we adhere to a very stringent, multi layered verification process. So, we at PTI have consciously chosen to prioritize accuracy over immediacy. We would rather be second and right than first and wrong. This institutional discipline, this commitment to getting the facts right, has allowed PTI to remain a trusted news source of news for millions of Indians and all the media outlets that rely on our service. You go to any newsroom in India today, and they will tell you कि जब तक पीटीआई की खबर नहीं आएगी हम किसी भी खबर को हम नहीं मान लेते. If they are really keen on having an accurate news out there, they want PTI to appear on the screens, and only then they will publish it. We have also built our credibility by admitting our mistakes when they happen. We are not super gods, we make mistakes. And God knows Ashwiniji's ministry has been a victim of our mistakes a few times. I hope a very few times. But when our mistakes are brought to our notice, we have zero hesitation, zero embarrassment, zero shame in admitting our fault and correcting our story or providing more balance. Now, this brings me to the question of fairness. Everyone wants to be treated fairly. It is a journalist's religion to make her story as fair as possible and bereft of any agenda. So, by that yardstick, if an individual has a right to be treated fairly, why not governments? They should, yes, the government should be open to scrutiny by the media, but should they be vilified? No, they should not be vilified with propaganda, with malicious reporting. They have a right to be treated fairly. They should be given a fair opportunity to respond to criticism. They should be given a fair opportunity to present their side of the story also. I want to take a few minutes to talk about PTI fact check. In today's environment, as you know, defending the truth requires more than practicing just these basic fundamental principles of journalism that I talked about are not enough in today's age to verify the truth. Why? Because of AI. You need an active mechanism to fight their falsehoods. So recognizing this, we established the PTI Fact Check Desk. It's a specialized unit of certified journalists armed with advanced tools of traditional reporting to combat the deluge of misinformation. AI is causing misinformation. We are using AI to fight the misinformation. So our teams work tirelessly to monitor, investigate, and debunk viral claims that threaten to mislead the public. And we don't just label something false. If something is brought to our notice, we don't simply say it is false, put a stamp and say it is wrong. We show our work, we show why it is false. We detail our methodology, present the evidence, and explain how the disinformation was created. We go back to the source, the zero source which created the misinformation, show the trail, how it was modified, and then show the public that this was wrong. So our fact checking extends to countering misinformation related to government policies and initiatives, which are often the most targets of malicious campaigns. Fraudsters often use the name of government schemes to create scams, as I just mentioned about Nirmalaji's video. We have debunked several such claims. I mean, very recently there was a video of Prime Minister Modi promising free bikes during his rally in Bihar. We investigated that, found it to be completely false, and then we informed our subscribers that this is wrong. And this disinformation and the fake videos, the challenge intensifies during times of national crisis. During Operation Sindoor, we saw a coordinated onslaught of disinformation from handles across the border. And PTI came in, stepped in, and debunked many of those videos. One of them was a digitally altered video of the Chief of the Defense Staff. He's apparently admitting the loss of Rafale jets in Operation Sindoor, and that claim was categorically denied. So what is the path forward? I believe it's a collective responsibility. The fight against misinformation cannot be won in isolation. It requires a multi-pronged collaborative effort. First, as news organizations, we must invest in our greatest asset. Who are our greatest asset? The journalists, the future journalists. So at PTI, we have a comprehensive continuous media literacy awareness drive within the newsrooms. We need to equip every reporter, every editor, every desk with the skills to identify sophisticated disinformation, understand the mechanics of deepfakes, use the latest verification tools, and teach them the importance of ethical journalism. To me, that is the most important criteria. Ethics is what is journalism based on. So the modern journalist has to be both a storyteller as well as a digital detective. You have to be a detective to find out where the falsehoods are coming from. Third, we must champion media literacy on a national scale. News agencies like PTI play a vital role, but we must work in concert with educational institutions, technology platforms, and the government. We need to empower citizens starting from a very young age, from class 5 onwards in schools, with the critical thinking necessary to navigate the digital world responsibly. No single newsroom or fact check unit can handle all the misinformation alone by itself. We need partnerships among media, civil society, platforms, government, and academia. So amid all these pressures that I talked about, commercial pressure, political pressure, or speed, news organizations must continue to uphold accuracy, impartiality, and accountability. That is the core of credibility. Finally, we must demand accountability from the platforms that have become the primary vectors of misinformation. While we value freedom of expression, the freedom cannot be a license to pollute the information ecosystem with impunity. There must be a greater commitment from social media giants and mainstream media ourselves to curb the spread of harmful falsehoods and disinformation on their platforms. Friends, the challenges before are daunting, but they're not insurmountable. I know it's a cliche. Every speech will have this line that it is daunting but not insurmountable. But this is not a cliche at all. The very existence of the Press Council of India, the Press Trust of India, and our gathering here today is a testament to our collective will to uphold the noble tenets of our profession. And let this National Press Day be a moment of introspection. It should also be a clarion call for action. So let us renew our pledge to the foundational principles of journalism, a commitment to be patient in our pursuit of truth, a pledge to be transparent in our methods, a pledge to be courageous in the face of intimidation, and above all, a commitment to serve the public with unwavering integrity. When a news agency like PTI stands firm on factual reporting, it serves not only its subscribers and clients, but also the country at large. On National Press Day, we should remind ourselves of this critical fact. The press is not simply a business, it is a public service, it is a trust. And I look forward to the day when the public says, I trust the news. Thank you.